Hi, everybody, and welcome to the T-Bowl in Newington, Connecticut. I'm Mike Sella for this championship bowling event, and on this Pro Tour stop, Joe Ryanier, we've got four men who are looking for their very first DPBA Pro Tour victory.
Yes, we do, and we have the top seed in John Mosesian, who is actually an underdog. John, one of the lower average bowlers on the tour, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say whoever makes it to that top spot and has to bowl John has their hands full. We all know that it's very tough to win when you're supposed to win, and I think anyone, if they were going to pick an opponent, they would want to bowl John because they know he's a 135, 136 average bowler. But I'm going to root for the underdog.
And he's had an outstanding weekend as well, qualifying with over 1,500 in the qualifying round yesterday. So we'll see if John Mosesian can hang on to that top spot in the ladder when we come back on Championship Bowling. Become a member of the Women's National Duckpin Association. Bowl for thousands of dollars in cash prizes. And join an elite group of the best women bowlers in the United States for 6 tour stops every year. To be eligible, you must have a 110 or better average in a sanctioned league. Or you can support the WNDA through an associate membership. Be one of the best. Rise to the occasion with the WNDA.
Fairlanes has 516 duck pin lanes for you, your family, and friends. Look us up. Come on in to Fairlanes, the fun lanes.
It's your turn now for Fairlanes fun. So bring it on in. Let's show them how it's done. At Fairlanes, the fun lane.
The DPBA wants you. The Duckpin Professional Bowlers Association is looking for a few good men. If you have a 130 average in a sanctioned league, you may have what it takes. DPBA bowlers will be shooting at over $125,000 in prize money in 1988. They'll receive national cable TV coverage and the satisfaction that they're among the best in the world at making the ducks fly. Join the excitement. Take the first step. Write today for a membership application. The Duckpin Professional Bowlers Association is pleased to present its Championship Bowling Series and would like to recognize these bowling proprietors and establishments which have supported this programming effort. Welcome back to the T-Bowl in Newington, Connecticut. Our first two bowlers make their initial appearance on Championship Bowling tonight. The number 4 seed is Dennis Pontes. Dennis is from nearby Manchester, Connecticut. He's been on the Pro Tour some 16 years now. His opponent is the number 3 seed, Mekuto from Johnston, Rhode Island. Al is 27 years old and has been bowling on the tour for only 3 years. As we take a look at the scoreboard, we see that neither bowler has started out very well. Mekuto has recorded the only mark in the match back in the 2nd frame. We pick up the action in the 5th frame with Dennis Pontes looking to ring up his first mark in the match.
And as tough as things have been for Dennis these first 4 frames, he's only 7 behind. He's still in the match and he could bust out of this any time.
Well, that is definitely the best ball he's thrown in the match. The best results, at least.
Big pin here for confidence.
You see him looking down as he releases the ball, identifying a spot on the floor that he wants to throw the ball on. He's got his first mark of the match. A spare comes in the 5th frame for Dennis Pontes of Manchester, Connecticut. Dennis has been on the Pro Tour 16 years. Outnumbering this man by about 13 years, at least in participation on the Pro Tour. Mekuto, left-hander. You see he starts it off with the right hand, transfers to the left, the high swing, and pretty ball. The results.
Just the opposite of Dennis. Al never takes his eyes off the pins. Watch, and that's tough to do. It's hard to get from where he's at to the foul line without peeking down. He locks him in. That's where he stays.
It's an interesting fact.
As we take a look at Al Mekuto, except the 10-pin. Swede Lavers, last year's DPBA Bowler of the Year, currently leading in the 88 race. Told me that about a year and a half, 2 years ago, he switched from being a pin bowler to a spot bowler, and he credits that to his good streak of bowling the last 2 years.
Look out. It's going to get it. You know it? No? Yes? No? No. 9 count. 60 in the 5th frame for Al. 44 plus in the 5th for Dennis. A little good fortune there for Al. He missed the front pin, broke 9, and that was on a count. And he is now shooting at the number 1 for another spare here in the 6th frame.
He's got it. Dennis Pontes now working on a spare.
Well, almost another tough break, but he kicked the 8 out. Keep pace. He is 7 pins behind. He needs his spare, his number 7, to stay that way, as Al has marked in the 5th and 6th frames. There's Kathy, his wife. Dennis's wife.
Kathy, a member of the WNDA, the Women's Pro Tour. That was a tough one to miss.
Yeah, he's sort of laughing at himself. I do that to keep from crying. I don't know why Dennis was doing it, but
when just to relieve some of that tension that you missed it, there's not much you can do about it. You might as well smile and try to get it on the next one, and he did. He picks up the full 10.
As you saw on the screen, Dennis's best finish in a pro tour was here at T-Bowl Lanes. In 1985, he finished 2nd. Got his work cut out right now. As he went by the single and now has knocked the middle out. Has 7 pins to work out down there. Nice try. Leaving the 4, 7, and 9.
A good 9 in the 7th for 72. Now Al Mekuto can increase the distance between himself and Dennis Pontes. Close-up shot. Ball will start in the right hand. Sort of spun around a little bit, placed, and off he goes.
Well, he kept it close.
He knew it, too, as he walked back to get his second ball. Wasn't very happy with that.
That was a big pitch right there. I mean, he could have really opened the lead here on Dennis and did just the opposite. Got it back together. He's going to have less than a 10-pin lead, which we know how easy that is to turn around, Mike. The 2-box format in the head-to-head bowling really creates this situation where it can flop back and forth as many as 5 times in a match. You'll see a game change hands.
Well, he's got an 81. That's a 9-pin lead. Watch how high he gets that ball back. Takes it a couple of steps. It's almost as if it's an over-exaggeration to compensate for something else.
Well, it almost has to be that high for his timing to be proper. He's got to get to the line before he brings it down. Good ball, no luck. 5, 7. Right now, I think in his situation, he should be shooting 1 and 1. Don't try anything fancy. You got a 9-pin lead. Dennis is struggling. Oh, called that one, didn't I, Mike?
Pretty spare by Al Mekuto.
Oh, you won, Al.
In his 8th frame. He went after it.
Nice shot. He sure did. You know, he could have thought just the opposite of what I was thinking, that what's 1 pin, a 9-pin lead or an 8-pin lead, if I can increase it to 15 or 16, it's worth the gamble, and he was absolutely right.
Toes the line for his half of the frame in the 8th.
And a rocker.
was going, but it just couldn't be driven into the pit. So
his last time on lane 30, he missed the number 7. For a right-handed bowler, Dennis actually likes the number 10 pin because his normal approach is from the far left side, so he's very comfortable over there, and he just changes his body angle a little. When he shoots the 7, he moves to the right, and it's just not a comfortable place for him.
Dennis Pontes taking his time, and it's off.
That was a good ball. We call that a quick 8. He's left the 6-10, and you just don't throw the ball any better than he threw that.
Picks up a nice 8 on the spare.
As I mentioned, he doesn't mind shooting the right side of the lane, so he just as soon be shooting a 6-10 as any 2-pinner down there.
Right on the money there. With that spare, Al Mekuto will have to worry about keeping pace, and Al will finish first. He'll bowl both the 9th and the 10th here. He has led for most of the match.
Yeah, matter of fact, the entire match. He took the lead 8-7 in the first frame and hasn't really looked back. But this is a big ball. Very big. Got away with it. That was a lot of 7. 98 and an 8-pin lead. But Dennis already has his mark in the 9th frame. Remember, Al created this situation. He made Dennis bowl first, and Dennis is going to have to bowl last. As Al will complete the 9th frame and then bowl the 10th. Swung it a little wide. It's a big pin. Hit the pin and bowl your 10th frame.
Just for a possible 108 going into the 10th. His wife Joan sort of hiding out there in the 2nd row. Missed it. So that is a 107 for Al Mekuto in the 9th, and he moves over to bowl on lane 29 here at the T-Bowl lanes in Newington, Connecticut. First of 3 matches. Number 4 and number 3 seeds going at it. The winner will face the number 2 seed, Rob Spencer, out of Chester, Maryland.
If he can mark here in the 10th frame, he's going to put Dennis on another mark when he bowls the 10th frame. If he doesn't mark here, Dennis is going to need a good count. Good ball. The game hasn't yielded a strike, Mike. We've gone strikeless, I guess you could say.
Here's Mekuto looking for the spare in the 10th. He's got it right on the
bullseye.
There you see his wife, Joan. Pretty happy about that.
Actually, anything over 4 is going to make Dennis mark in the 10th frame. That's over 4. Good ball. He really finished the game strong.
Last 2 balls in the last 3 balls in the 10th frame, right on the money, and Al Mekuto finishes up with a 126. Big ball. The match riding on this frame. Dennis. Well, needed a mark. He got it.
Now he needs 7.
Really
2 balls
get a chance to look
7.
at this again.
He threw it well under the pressure. No doubt. He put it right where he wanted it. I think he liked it.
A lot to like about it.
Yes. Took a lot of pressure off. Now he has 2 balls. Had he not, had he broke 8 or 9 and had to make it, he'd have needed another good ball, or make the spare and then another good ball to get the big count. Now he has.
Certainly not automatic here, as we've seen.
No, it's not. They've all been
past matches.
They've been through the middle a lot, but he's pretty pumped up right now, and I think the strike gave him a lot of confidence. Let's see what happens.
Dennis Pontes rolling for the match.
Yeah, He floated that ball out. He didn't drill it in the middle of the lane. Well done.
Put on a big finish.
Another not real high scoring match, but nonetheless a very exciting finish.
Right down to the wire again.
Dennis goes 129 to 126 and was never in the lead until the 10th frame.
Well, he did spare in the 8th, 9th, and had a strike in the 10th. Dennis Pontes moves on to face Rob Spencer when we come back to championship bowling in just a moment. Dennis Pontes, the winner of our first match, takes on Rob Spencer out of Chester, Maryland, just 29 years old. He is a rookie on the DPBA Pro Tour, and certainly the first time that he's made it up the ladder and bowling out of Chester, Maryland. He is probably very excited, very nervous, and looking forward to getting on the lanes, but that doesn't stop him from making Dennis Pontes bowl first.
Well, he had the insight to keep as much pressure off himself as he can. This is one of my beliefs, that I would make the other guy go first. I don't really want to have to get up in the 10th frame and make a mark under the pressure. And that hero role, as I've said before, is a tough role to play.
Dennis Pontes winning a very close one, a 3-pin decision over Mekuto in our first match. Dennis is the number 4 seed. And he starts off with a spare. So these last 3 or 4 frames, he's been on the money. It seems like it took him a while to get going, but now he's found the range.
And he really, his only bad balls, if you can really term them as bad balls, he pushed through the middle quite a few times and made whatever adjustment he had to make.
Here's a look at Rob Spencer.
Rob Spencer, as did Mekuto on his first ball, knocked out the 4-pin, and that's a little case of the willies.
15:49 in qualifying, so he had a great weekend, no question about that.
He certainly didn't knock the 4-pin out too many times in the 10-game qualifying.
And the game I saw where he beat Swede Lavers in the semifinals head-to-head. Didn't show too much in terms of nerves there.
Well, he should think, whoop, 3 frame.
Well, we'll see what character Rob Spencer shows here as falls behind early, and now he's going to take a deep breath and just go back to the things that have gotten him here.
Well, a tough frame. There's no hole out there to crawl in, and that's what he feels like doing right now. So, okay, that's what he needs. Needs a little luck. Make a mark.
The winner here will go on to face John Mosesian in the championship match next. So Rob Spencer comes back nicely from the open frame in the first with a spare in the second, and that'll bring back Dennis Pontes. Dennis, before he bowls, we'll have a chance to look at Rob Spencer's form. Big man gets down low in the delivery there. You see he's on the bench now.
$18 and a 15-pin lead. That's the way you like to start a game. Really capitalizing on Rob's misfortune there in the first frame.
Well, it certainly helps to start that way, although it's more important, I guess, how you finish.
Yeah,
as
nothing
we saw in the
matters.
last match.
Not over, is it?
Joe, you were talking about the 2-pin spare and how at some point during the evening we'd see somebody leave one of those on the left. That's exactly what happened to Dennis there. Watching the up the ladder climb for head-to-head competition in the finals of the DPBA Pro Tour, the Duckpin Professional Bowlers Association Tour out of T-Bowl in Newington, Connecticut.
Made it a little better. Still a tough shot. But once again here at the T-Bowl with the sideboard action, he can catch this off the wall. Here you see a replay. Close to the line, huh?
Yeah.
Nice shot. Ooh, almost got behind it.
Now in this situation, Joe, you're early in the match. Do you just go for the one pin, or you try to pick it up again?
You just shoot the one. Okay, almost got it.
Shot the one, got the good bounce, and almost picked up both.
The thing all bowlers have to remember, when you go shooting at the splits, if you don't hit a pin, you can't make it. So and if you think about how many one-pinners you barely hit, well, that's all you're really doing when you're shooting a split. So,
well, Rob Spencer.
Change of events from 3 to a spare to a strike.
Well,
and he's going to take the lead. How amazing is this?
The way he has to bowl all weekend to make it this far.
The head pin did a lot of work. They'll retire that one. They'll be tired out.
Spencer in the third now.
It's got to go about 6'3", wouldn't you say?
Yep. And let's take a look and see how he bends that knee. Picked it up.
But most of the pro bowlers come very close to the foul line. I'd say within an inch, 2 inches of the foul line.
Well, you're giving all that room, you might as well take advantage of it.
Get as close to him as you can. Which I think when we saw the slow-mo of Dennis, he was within a 16th. Good ball. So where to finish off that ball?
For a good grip. It's got to be on here somewhere, right? Keep spinning it until you find it. Dennis Pontes looking.
He found it.
Mark. Tightens it up a bit. Move over and bowl in the fifth. The winner here will go on to face John Mosesian of Tolland. All of our bowlers in tonight's show have not had a DPBA Tour victory to their credit. Dennis bowling in his second match as his wife, Kathy, looks on. There you go. Well, Dennis is right back in the match. With a big hooting and hollering section up behind him. There's a little dance at the line, and off he goes.
Came through that real well. You see the hand pop up in front of his face and pin action.
Rob Spencer down in the fifth.
There you're looking at the 3, 9, and 10, and that and the 2, 7, 8 are probably the toughest shots on the lane that look like they're makeable. That's a very tough shot you're looking at there. If you push the 3 through the 9, you get those 2. If you catch the 3 into the 10, you get those 2, and you really need a streak of luck to kick all 3 of them out. So change hands.
Yep, 69 for Spencer after 5. Rob will move over and pull his portion of the 6th. Close match here on Championship Bowling.
Nice ball. Number 4 for a spare break in the 6th frame for Rob Spencer. Must shot with Dennis having a strike up in the 5th frame and only a 2-pin lead. Rob wants to cover this. Let it get away.
Upset with himself there as let that one get away. Picks up the full 10. 79 for him through 6.
Well, the crowd lets you know this is a big ball for Dennis. You can take advantage of the situation, or you can keep it close if you make a mistake.
Working on the strike in the 5th. It's a big ball in the match. Here's the 5.
shot the 5 on this lane the last time that he bowled over here in the 4th frame.
3 marks in a row now for Dennis Pontes. He's taken control of the match in the middle frames. Rob Spencer had the early advantage, and now Dennis Pontes finds himself up by 8 pins. Looking to increase the daylight, and he can do that with a good ball here. Can't get him any better in duckpin bowling.
Sort of got locked in since the end of the first game. Continuing into this game, he has thrown a lot of good balls.
Now the pressure's on Rob Spencer to come back.
Oh, okay, sweet
big
kick
help
there.
Yeah. Leaves up the 7, and it's a shot at a mark here. He also will give the finish on the ball a good rub down before letting it rip here.
He let the 4-pin get away in the last frame on lane 29 and allow it to turn out to be a big single.
Yeah. That's a big one too. Looks like he might be rushing just a bit, Joe. A little bit nervous. And
a little quick to the line. His timing's out of whack.
So he comes up with a 9, 70 to make that 88 in the 7th frame. Spare there would have been a big one for him.
This comes with experience. You look up and you see how far behind you are, and you let it affect your game rather than one ball at a time. You get what you can get and just let the results take care of themselves. 3 singles in a row. Moved to the other side this time. He shot the 4 and then the 7. Now he's shooting the number 6. I wouldn't have thought this would happen after his 3 frame. He shook that off, made spare, strike, spare in the next 3 frames.
There you go. He's got it back now. Spare in the 8th. But I'm sure he'll remember the 2 singles that he left the 2 previous frames. Dennis Pontes up and ready now for the 8th frame. Working on 4 marks in a row. Wife Kathy agonizing over that one just a bit.
He's in pretty good shape, though. 107 plus this ball.
Beautiful spare.
117.
Took a little bow. Thank you, pins. Adds up on the scoreboard to his 5th mark. Well, it's a 7, Phil. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. Got a pretty good game going here, Joe.
Yes, he does. 160 pace, 170 if he makes this and then marks in the 10th. Yep, overshot another one. He has 3 opens. One was a 2-pinner that he hit the back one, then he overshot this.
Picks up the full 10 nicely. It's in the 144 in the 9th. And Rob Spencer's got his work cut out for him here. He's going to look back and say, geez, I missed those 2 single pins. Could have actually kept me in the match.
There it goes. Yes, the way things are working out right now. Let me tell you something. We've seen matches like this before where
There's a little waterfall effect here as it takes down the last 3 pins.
now he turns around, throws a good ball, catches a double. Let me tell you something. He can turn things around real quick. Matter of fact, if he throws a strike with the first ball, he could put Dennis on a mark in the 10th frame.
Now here's Rob Spencer in the 10th.
Has to be. Had him moving around, but it's not going to work out. If he would happen to make this and throw a strike, Dennis would need 5 pins to win this match, and he'll be going on to face. I asked you to help me out with that.
John Mosesian.
Mosesian. Tallinn, Connecticut. Is that right around the corner? Not too far from here?
Yeah, well, 2 Connecticut bowlers going for the top slot here in Connecticut. So Rob Spencer finishes up. As we've seen in the course of things today, not a bad score, 135. Certainly would have won the last match and beat Dennis Pontes by 6 pins.
The 2 one-pinners would have put Dennis on a mark, but they won't let us put the would-haves on the score sheet. So Dennis is going to go on to win his second game with a much improved score, as you've mentioned, 129 in his first victory.
Now, Rob Spencer's had a good weekend, though. He did well qualifying. Made it all the way up the ladder to the second to last match. Take a 3rd place home. That's not bad.
No, and he really should savor the other 14 games, 16 games actually, and not let this game bother him. 135 is not a bad game. Chalk it up to experience.
You've seen 135's win on TV for in the final match. So you got to next time I'll get him. Meanwhile, Dennis continues.
154 plus.
Mark. Right now, Dennis is working on pressing John Mosesian and also trying to keep things going for the next match.
160.
And even 160 for the match. Very nice match for Dennis Pontes. Wins his second, and he'll go on to face our top seed, John Mosesian, for all the marbles. When we come back right after this.
National Duck Pin Association. Bowl for thousands of dollars in cash prizes. And join an elite group of the best women bowlers in the United States for 6 tour stops every year. To be eligible, you must have a 110 or better average in a sanctioned league. Or you can support the WNDA through an associate membership. Be one of the best. Rise to the occasion with the WNDA.
Fairlanes has 516 duck pin lanes for you, your family, and friends. Look us up. Come on in to Fairlanes, the fun lanes.
It's your turn now for Fairlanes fun. So bring it on in. Let's show 'em how it's done. At Fairlanes, the fun lane.
The DPBA wants you. The Duck Pin Professional Bowlers Association is looking for a few good men. If you have a 130 average in a sanctioned league, you may have what it takes. DPBA bowlers will be shooting at over $125,000 in prize money in 1988. They'll receive national cable TV coverage and the satisfaction that they're among the best in the world at making the ducks fly. Join the excitement. Take the first step. Write today for a membership application. The Duck Pin Professional Bowlers Association is pleased to present its Championship Bowling Series and would like to recognize these bowling proprietors and establishments which have supported this programming effort.
Welcome back. A vociferous crowd here at the T-Bowl in Newington, cheering on 2 Connecticut men. John Mosesian, our top seed out of Tallinn, Connecticut. He's 36 years old. He's been on the Pro Tour 4 years, and he'll face off the number 4 seed, Dennis Pontes, who's climbed the ladder out of the 4th seed. It's a battle here for the championship, and for either man, Joe, it'll be their first Pro Tour win.
I've been around. Hey, there we go. John starts with a strike. A qualifying score of 15.08. High game 229, high set 527, currently averaging 136. So you'd have to pick John as an underdog.
Yep.
You really would, and I hope you don't mind me saying that. He's chose to come out here and battle it out with the big boys, so to speak, and I give him all the credit in the world. Then on the other hand, you have Dennis Pontes, 47 years old, been bowling 21 years on the Pro Tour for 16, and I can relate to Dennis and where he's coming from. He wants to star very badly. Had a wiggle.
Gave it a push, but not hard enough to knock it down, and have to settle himself for an attempt at a spare here.
See, Dennis moves to the right to shoot the left-hand side. He's shooting a 2-pin.
Well, he missed it, so I'll have to come back with the third ball to try to pick up the full 10. The other side of the coin is there, Joe, is that John Mosesian really has nothing to lose, and that's maybe why he's so loose. He's approaching it, hey, I'm giving it a shot. If I win, I win. If I don't, nobody expects me to do well, and, you know.
And just the other hand, Dennis is saying, everybody expects me to beat this guy. You know, he's a 136 average bowler and a real long shot to make it this far and actually lead the qualifying. Yeah, an unusual situation.
Well, maybe a 136 bowler on a regular basis, but this weekend he's been a 150 bowler, and
well, we say many
times, hot and
times,
cold streaks.
I've never seen an average beat anyone.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right.
They're not marking their average on the score sheet. They're marking what they knock down. And like you say, it's very difficult to win when you're supposed to win. And Dennis is in that situation.
Well, I've heard it said just recently. We're going to take averages and match paper against paper in terms of strength on the athletic field. They wouldn't have to play the game. They just put out the average, say, I win, and see you later.
You can't measure the amount of heart that goes into these performances.
Nice try there by Dennis. He'll have to settle for an attempt here at the full 10 in the second frame.
Certainly John Mosesian has heart, or he wouldn't be out there.
So Dennis leaves the first two frames open. John working on the strike in the first.
It's a big frame this early in the match. When you're looking at John, not even relatively inexperienced, just plain inexperienced.
Well, it's only the second ball we've seen him throw. And we'll have to take a look and see what we can see a little bit about form here with John Mosesian. John is a truck driver out of Tallinn, Connecticut. Been only bowling for 11 years. That's not really a long time. Picks up the spare nicely, and he's got marks his first two frames.
Looks like a 200 average bowler to me so far. 20 in the first frame. Let's
take a look.
Well, you see that got all the materials, and here goes. He doesn't take much time. Hold that one a little bit. Broke it up. Left the 1-3. He's on a roll.
Doesn't waste a lot of time.
I'm telling you, what happens mentally to somebody that's in Dennis Pontes' seat right now is a little tough to handle. Oh, tough shot
off there.
He hit the front pin. And
we saw a little bit of form, and the end of that shot, he missed it. So that's his first open frame, 49 after 3. Dennis Pontes will step in, down to 2 marks. Bowling in the third frame. Dennis Pontes up and ready to roll here. His third match in tonight's finals. Well, Dennis hasn't thrown the ball badly here at the start of this match. He just hasn't been able to convert.
no, Dennis has thrown the ball well since about the 8th frame of the first game. We'll see. He has trouble shooting this left side here. Got one.
Picked it off his first spare. You're right. In the match that he beat Mekuto, and he was trailing right throughout until the 8th. He put a string of marks together to come from behind and win that by 3. And then in the last game, pulled a pretty healthy 160 and got off to a bit of a slow start here. And Now he's got the spare in the third. Let's see if that spurs him on just a bit.
Quite often the score is not indicative of, you know, how the bowler actually bowled the game. He had a couple spots there where the could have kicked the pin out for a doubleheader or the triple header and been easily into the 180s. So he's been in the pocket, I'd say 75–80% of the last 15 frames. He has to feel pretty good about that. Your confidence keeps building. You keep getting a little stronger. Certainly a mark here would help things out because he's fallen behind John here the first 3 frames. Behind 17 in the third, less this ball.
Well, thought he got lucky, then
Sure
maybe
did.
he got unlucky, and he got lucky again. But just leave the single pin up. Went from 3 in a row to a split to a single with a spare. He just did nick that one, too. So a double spare for Dennis in the third and the fourth. Didn't have a lot of room to spare, as it were, with that one.
Okay, John pushed it through, leaving the 2, 3, 4, 7, and 10. He'll be looking to work some wood out of this, probably shooting the 3 on the left, hoping to kick it into the 10 like that. And then if you're lucky, you catch it off that rubber and it comes forward. The number 2 pin hit the 10 pretty solid, though. Had he cut it in front of it, quite often it'll fly frontward. Nice 10. I tell you, he makes very elementary the game. It's
well, you like him also because he does it the way he explained it. It makes it easy to sit and do color when he does it the way you want him to do it. And that's a good way to do it, too.
Turnabout's fair play, right? John hits the side and catches a strike. Dennis just broke 9 out there, so John said maybe that's the place to go. But he did catch the head pin. He didn't really hit the side. It happened so fast, I thought he went by the head pin.
John Mosesian's nickname is Mo. He's trying to get a little momentum in his corner at this point.
Well, he came out of the gate with the Mo, and Dennis sort of turned it around here a little bit with back-to-back 9s and made both of them. There's a good ball. As I said, we're not too happy with that break because we feel like we've apparently flattened the ball out a little bit and just got the clean 8. Nothing came off the wall. He's shooting the 5-9 for his 3rd spare in a row in the 5th frame. Dead even. John having a strike in the 5th. You shoot him enough, sooner or later you're going to do that. And I think he was thinking about how he hit the number 1 pin the frame before, and he wheeled it out there a little bit.
Dennis Pontes now in the 6th frame. Working on the open frame out of the 5th. Battling with our number 1 seed, John Mosesian. 2 Connecticut bowlers on championship bowling tonight, looking to come up with their first Pro Tour win.
Well, he's opened 2 frames in a row here, the 5th and 6th frame, and he's left John open.
Ends up with an 8 there. So let's see, what does Dennis have? A 75 after 6.
We'll return to championship bowling right after these messages.
John Mosesian with a strike in the 5th. So next 2 balls are big for him.
There's when a strike comes in handy. Big ball here. You want to stay away from the hole. Keep it on the left side of the head pin. Smart shot. 7. Here's a tough shot for experienced or inexperienced. Do you shoot 2 or do you shoot the front one? You don't know, so you throw it in the hole. Right?
Undecided.
It is
Compromise
tough.
with yourself and you end up with nothing.
At this point in the game, I would have been shooting a front pin because that's the pin he's going to be shooting at with this ball. There it goes.
Well, he had a 6-pin lead after 6, and that certainly helps. That's his 3rd strike in the match.
It's a very equalizing weapon is the strike when you're overmatched as far as average or experience, and I'm not in any way putting John down, but being the underdog here, he struck 3 out of the first 7 frames, and that takes a little pressure off. Normally where a bowler becomes a little better is what makes the average better is the 2nd and 3rd ball. No one's really that much better than anybody else when you go from 130 on up with the first ball. It's the wood and making the spares that separate the averages. Right. Turned that ball a little different. He's getting a little on the outside of the ball, and it changes the turn. It's more like a top than it is pushing the pins, and you see what happened here. He tried to get a little extra on that. I don't blame him.
Pressing a little bit now is rather than bowling a little bit more relaxed like it was the last match.
Well, he knows he's had 2 misses this game, and he sort of let this game get away from him a little bit. I mean, he's far from over. 6 pins plus John's mark. Dennis can go over on lane 29 in the 8th frame, make a mark, and be right back in the game.
Well, we've seen him be very strong in the 8th, 9th, and 10th frames tonight, so certainly when things have been on the line, he's been able to come through.
Well, he's down 6 pins plus John's strike, so he certainly wants a mark here in the 8th frame.
Dennis bowling in the 8th. Likes it. Crowd thought he might have had it for just a second. The pin rolled by the 5.
It didn't miss it by much.
And it had enough momentum, I think, to knock it down and it hit it.
Come off the rubber hard, no doubt.
So Dennis leaves another one open in the 8th frame. He's got a 95. John Mosesian. An 81 plus the strike in the 7th.
It's the biggest ball of the match for either bowler, Mike. It's a good one. A little tight. 2, 3, 4 he's shooting at. Being on a strike, he should want to safely shoot the 2 pins. Make sure you hit something, I think, would be the piece of advice right here. Got a piece of deadwood in the right-hand channel there he's going to clear. Now there's a real gentleman. He cleared that with his personal ball. Reached down, picked up his 3rd ball. I'd say the guy is relaxed.
Well, shot at the 2, got 1. So that'll count on his strike. He's got 99 now in the 7th. Boy, we've got a tight one going.
13 pins.
108 now to 95.
This is in another important frame. A mark here in the 9th and put Dennis on a double. Oh, tough break. Good ball, left the 7-8. Shoot 1 and 1.
Gave it a good try there. Settled for shooting at the 10 pins here in the 9th. Got it. And still leads it by the 1 mark. Big ball for Dennis Pontes here. There's the 4-7, I believe, and we'll have to shoot for the spare in the 9th. Gets the spare here, it'll really be tough.
Still going to need one in the 10th. Now he's got a double in the 10th. Boy, that is a bad feeling. He's had trouble shooting the left side. I'm sure when he broke that, he said, I'm going to shoot at the front pin, and picked it off. Real tough break. He's on a double. He's got to throw a double in the 10th frame. If he triples or doubles and counts on it, he's going to make John mark. He can't close John out.
Dennis Pontes in the 10th.
If he doesn't make this, it's all over. And John Mosesian has taken his 136 average, put it on the line, and he's going to walk off with a star. And I personally, I know how Dennis feels, and having been there about 4 times myself, finishing second, but I really think it's great for duck pin bowling and the Pro Tour to have a bowler of John Mosesian's caliber come along and do what he's done. He put himself in a position where he only had to bowl 1 game, took advantage of the situation. Dennis bowled a 113 game, and John, he's going to be in the 120s, and it's going to be enough.
That's all it counts. Well, look what happened to John in the 10th frame. Makes you wonder if Dennis had converted the spare, what would have happened?
You're right. He'd have needed 2 more pins. We'd had a tie game. Well,
that's
we
it.
can't say what if, right? 124 to 113.
We'll wrap it up here from Newington and T-Bowl Lanes right after this. Welcome back to Newington, Connecticut. I'm Mike Sella. With me on my right is the winner of our match, John Mosesian. On my left, my colleague Joe Rainier. And Joe, you have an award to make to another first-time DPBA Pro Tour winner.
Well, on behalf of the Pro Tour, I have a check here for John for his first victory. And you know, it's nice to see, and I hope you don't take offense to this, to see the underdog come to the top.
An 11-pin victory for John Mosesian, and for my colleague Joe Rainier, we've had a great weekend of bowling.
They knocked a lot of pins down. We had a lot of excitement. We gave out new stars to quite a few different bowlers. So see you next time on Championship Bowling.
And I'd like to thank our hosts at the T-Bowl. They've done a great job for us here at Newington, Connecticut. And for John Mosesian and my colleague Joe Rainier, I'm Mike Sella. We'll see you again next time on Championship Bowling.